There are things only humans can do: weep for the dead, sing of love, and question the meaning of existence. Amid the cold fossil layers of Kromdraai, where each fragment of bone is a silent trace of time, humanity has unearthed more than just its physical origins. It has, often unknowingly, delved into the roots of the spirit. We search for the shape of our ancestors, but what drives us even more deeply is the desire to understand ourselves. Across millions of years of evolution, through countless branches and species long extinct, one question remains as powerful as ever. Who are we? And perhaps the answer does not lie solely in science, but in a deeper place, where memory, soul, and longing intertwine to form the essence of a singular being, the human. Part 1. Kromdraai, a crucial site in the story of human origins. Kromdraai, the name may sound unfamiliar to many, but it is one of the most significant places where the deepest secrets of human history are buried. Nestled quietly in the remote grasslands of South Africa, Kromdraai is not a bustling metropolis, nor is it filled with skyscrapers and traffic. Instead, it is a place of stone, dust, and time, where every grain of earth and every fragment of fossil whispers a grand story, the story of our origin. In 1938, by chance, a young schoolboy named Gert Terblanche discovered a strange tooth embedded in the ground at Kromdraai. This tooth did not belong to a modern human, nor did it resemble any known living creature. It carried the shape of a distant past and belonged to a now extinct hominin species known as Paranthropus robustus, a being that once lived and breathed and walked upon this very land over 2 million years ago. That discovery sent shockwaves through the archaeological community and opened a new chapter in the quest to trace humanity's roots. From that moment on, Kromdraai was no longer an anonymous patch of land. It became the heart of excavation efforts and an essential piece in a region later known as the cradle of humankind. The zone eventually declared a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. It is no exaggeration to say, if humankind has a primordial homeland, it might very well be here, amid the silent caves and ancient cliffs of South Africa. But the true magic of Kromdraai lies beyond scientific data. It lies in the quiet testimony of life that once was, not brilliant or glorious, but humble and real. Shattered bones, thick moulders, cracked skulls, all seem to whisper that humans did not emerge from nothingness, nor were we dropped into the world fully formed. Rather, we are the outcome of millions of years of biological experimentation, of nature's relentless trial and error. Along this journey, beings like Paranthropus robustus, though not our direct ancestors, were fellow travelers, evolutionary neighbors who once walked beside us before fate led them down a road with no return. Kromdraai thus becomes a mirror into the past, a vivid reminder of the diversity and complexity of human evolution. It prompts us to ask profound questions about our very essence. What made us special? Why did only Homo sapiens survive while others vanished into the dust of time? Was it intelligence, adaptability, or perhaps mere chance? There are no definitive answers, but thanks to what has been uncovered at Kromdraai, we now know that our existence is anything but guaranteed. It is the result of countless paths not taken, of countless beings who once lived and died, so that one species might one day look back, search for meaning in fossils, and ask, who are we, really? And that, perhaps, is the greatest gift Kromdraai offers to humanity, not just scientific knowledge, but a quiet, humbling reminder of where we come from and what it means to be human. If you were to stand at Kromdraai today, under the golden South African sun and a whispering valley winds, you wouldn't see anything grand with your eyes. But if you closed them and listened, you might just hear the faint murmur of time telling you about a morning long ago when a half-ape, half-human creature lifted its head in the forest, stood upright for the first time, and caught a flickering glimpse of self-awareness. That moment marked the beginning of a journey from which there was no turning back, a journey called us. Part 2. Beneath the dust of time, the Paranthropus robustus fossils of Kromdraai. Deep within the arid soil of Kromdraai, where ancient limestone layers rest in quiet stacks laid down over millions of years, lies a treasure no one expected, a tooth. Not a tooth of a modern human, nor that of a wild animal, but one carrying the whisper of a distant age, of a being that once lived, once ate, once walked, once died, and was then forgotten. That fossil belonged to Paranthropus robustus, an ancient neighbor of humanity, living proof that we were not the only two-legged beings to roam this land. The story began with a chance discovery in 1938, when a young boy named Gert Terblunch stumbled upon a small piece of bone protruding from the earth at Kromdraai. He brought it to paleontologist Robert Broom, a man whose work would soon reshape how we understand our past. As Broom began excavating, he uncovered not just a tooth, but a partial skull, jawbones, and fragments of a creature the world of science had never seen. Thus, the name Paranthropus robustus entered the pages of history, not as a direct ancestor, but as a striking supporting character in the epic novel of evolution. Paranthropus robustus was not like modern humans. They had thick skulls, large and powerful teeth, especially molars adapted to chewing tough plant material like roots and seeds. They stood only about 1.2 to 1.5 meters tall with stocky, sturdy bodies, but they walked upright, a clear mark that they were hominins, part of the evolutionary branch that split from our shared ancestor with chimpanzees. Strangely enough, although they lived nearly 2 million years ago, they were not the ancestors of Homo sapiens. They belonged to a side branch, a dead end in the maze of evolution that ultimately led to extinction. And yet, it is precisely this that makes Paranthropus robustus so meaningful. They remind us that evolution is not a straight path upward, but a sprawling tree with countless branches, some that thrive, and others that wither and vanish. If Homo sapiens is the only one left standing, it may be more due to chance and adaptation than superiority. When we look at the fossilized skull of Paranthropus, we don't just see a biological structure, we see unanswered questions. How did they live? Did they love? Did they fear, wonder, or dream? Did they ever look up at the sky and ask why they existed? We don't know. And in that unknowing lies the drive to understand, to listen to the silent voices locked in bone. Kromdraai, through the fossils of Paranthropus robustus, is not merely an archaeological site. It is a place where time has been frozen, where history is etched into stone. Every fossil found there is like a quiet verse written in bone, sketching a past we could never fully imagine without them. And so, beneath the winds of South Africa and the soft golden sunlight spilling across the land, those ancient fragments continue to speak, not through words, but through presence. As if to whisper to us, we were here too, we lived. And though we have long faded, our existence is still a part of the story you continue to write each day. Part 3. The human evolutionary journey, not a straight line, but a tangled. When we think of human evolution, the most common image that comes to mind is a ladder from ape to man, each step rising higher, becoming smarter, more civilized. It's a simple and familiar idea, but also one of the greatest misconceptions about how we came to be. The truth is far more complex. Humanity did not emerge from a straight path to the top, but from a winding, branching journey full of detours and dead ends. We are not the product of a ladder, we are a leaf on a tangled evolutionary tree, and Homo sapiens is simply the one branch that still remains. From our most ancient ancestors, ape-like beings who lived over 7 million years ago, various hominin branches began to diverge, experimenting with upright walking, larger brains, and teeth adapted to diverse diets. Some evolved toward eating tough plant foods like Paranthropus robustus, with massive molars and robust skulls. Others, like Australopithecus afarensis, became better walkers, more efficient bipedal beings, and from them, the genus Homo eventually emerged. But even within the Homo lineage, the direct family of modern humans, there was fierce competition for survival. There was Homo habilis, the handyman who crafted the first stone tools. Homo erectus, the upright man who mastered fire and left Africa. Homo floresiensis, tiny like a child, who lived on an island in Indonesia. Homo neanderthalensis, strong and adapted to the cold European climate. And the mysterious Homo naledi, discovered only in recent years. For millions of years, multiple human species coexisted on Earth, and none of them knew they were part of a great experiment. None knew whether they would survive or vanish. And in the end, only one branch, small, perhaps even fragile, continued to live, to tell the story. That branch was Homo sapiens. We are not the inevitable end goal of evolution. We are the result of a series of chances, not always because we were the strongest or the smartest, but often because we were the most adaptable to a harsh and ever-changing world. Seen from this perspective, every fossil we unearth, from Paranthropus to Australopithecus to Homo erectus, is not just archaeological evidence. It's a reminder that our evolutionary path was built upon possibilities that never came to be. Behind humanity's survival lie countless lives that faded away, and every ancient skull we find is a way of meeting a version of us that could have existed, but didn't. The human evolutionary tree, therefore, is not merely a scientific diagram. It is a living portrait of life itself, wild, diverse, full of unpredictability. A crooked branch may lead to extinction. A tiny twig may sprout into something new, and sometimes, the smallest shifts, a gene mutation, a sharper stone tool, a group learning to cooperate, can alter the course of the planet. We are now living in the age of Homo sapiens, but no one can say with certainty that we will be the last human species. History has shown, life is never still. And if we truly understand this tangled tree of evolution, then perhaps the wisest response is not pride in our place at the top, but humility in the face of the millions of years that brought us here, fragile, finite, and yet astonishingly alive. Part 4, Kromdraai, where the memory of humanity echoes not only in stone, but in spirit. Beneath the ancient layers of rock in Kromdraai, known as the cradle of humankind, lie more than just fossils of beings that once roamed the earth millions of years ago. Hidden within this place is a deeper dimension, a meaning both historical and spiritual. While archaeology allows us to witness the physical evidence of our origins, it is through spirit that we begin to feel the roots of consciousness and soul, the very essence that transformed humanity from creatures that walk upright into beings who ask, "Who am I?" Kromdraai is no ordinary archaeological site. It is a crossroads of past and present, of body and soul, of stone and thought. Every fragment of fossil unearthed here is like a whisper from prehistory, reminding us that humanity was not an instant creation, but a product of millions of years of trials, errors, and gradual transformation. And beyond all scientific insight, these fossils pose a profound question that transcends biology. What truly makes us human? Is it the ability to craft tools? To walk on two legs? No, the answer lies deeper. It is the awareness of death, the ability to sense finitude and seek meaning in a vast and indifferent universe. In places like Kromdraai, when we bend down to pick up a broken piece of bone, when we touch the remnants of a long-lost era, we are not merely studying the past, we are entering a silent dialogue with something deep within ourselves. On another level, Kromdraai resembles an ancient temple where modern scientists replace ancient priests, and instead of prayer, they dig, analyze, and compare. But the destination remains the same, to seek the sacred within the human experience. When we gaze into the fossilized skull of a Paranthropus robustus, we don't just see anatomy. We see an entire vanished dimension, primeval forests, the first hesitant footsteps, wide eyes gazing in awe at the world. This is a memory that belongs not to one individual, but to the collective soul of all humanity. Thus, Kromdraai carries an immeasurable value not only for scientists, but for anyone who has ever questioned the meaning of existence. It reminds us that we are not separate from nature or the past, but rather a continuation of an immense, flowing current. A current that began with wordless beings who could not remember, but who sowed the seeds for thought, emotion, and love. If history is what happened, then spirituality is how we connect with what was lost. And at Kromdraai, the two blend in a wondrous harmony. It is a place where time settles into sediment, where each rock has the power to quiet our breath, and where every step we take is not merely a movement through space, but a descent into memory, into knowing, into humanity. One might say that Kromdraai doesn't just tell the story of who we once were, but whispers to us who we might yet become, if we learn to listen to the call rising from the deep earth of the past. And in that moment, history ceases to be a dry list of facts. It becomes a sacred journey, where we meet ourselves once more, in the form of an ancient being learning for the first time how to stand tall in a vast and mysterious world. Part 5. Who are we? A question both simple and profound. After all the layers of time peeled back at Kromdraai, after each dry fragment of bone pieced together into beings that vanished millions of years ago, the final question inevitably turns inward. Who are we? We are not the strongest species, nor the fastest, nor the most enduring. So what makes humanity survive and stand apart? The answer lies not only in our biology, but in our unique ability to connect, imagine, and remember. Humans tell stories, we light fires, both literally and metaphorically. We mourn our dead, paint animals on cave walls to preserve memory, and stand in the wind to name the invisible force we call spirit. We are the product of millions of years of evolution, but also the authors of an ever-expanding stream of consciousness. From Paranthropus robustus, our ancient relatives, to Homo sapiens, modern humans, we inherit not only genes, but unfulfilled dreams and unanswered questions. And it is precisely that yearning that makes us not merely a living species, but a being in search of meaning. Perhaps what makes us unique is not physical superiority, but the ability to look back. To kneel beside a fossilized bone and whisper, "Thank you, because of you, we made it here." If this journey moved you, if you've ever found yourself asking, who are we? Then don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more stories that uncover the mysteries of humankind. Every subscription isn't just support, it's a small step in a greater journey to understand ourselves. We'll see you in the next video, where past, present, and future meet in every story we tell.